You are not here by chance, and you did not come here by chance. Heaven itself set up this meeting by putting together time, breath, and awareness so that you could hear this now. What you are feeling in your spirit is real. It is known. You can't see the door, but it's already open, and the timing of it has been set in stone, so no one can change it. Chosen one, things are happening in your life that didn't start today. You weren't able to go to places where decisions were made. People have talked about you when you weren't there. What was put off was not denied, and what was hidden was never lost. The Bible reminds us that the vision will come true at the right time. It may seem slow, but it will happen. That hour is almost here. You are at the edge of a sudden change. Anointed one, something that has felt heavy is about to be lifted. What has been quiet is about to say something. This isn't just comfort, it's also transfer, not just relief, but a change in direction. What heaven sends next is meant to change how you walk, how you see things, and how people treat you. God doesn't always make us stronger by explaining things or making noise. Chosen one, a quiet, simple, and steady reminder is sometimes the most faithful one. It's something the soul can easily go back to. What has been prepared is here, waiting in peace. Something has been changing around you that you couldn't stop or fake. Chosen one, and that's how you can tell it's real. It isn't loud. It is not a mess. When heaven touches a timeline and starts moving things that were stuck, it is a quiet rearranging. You might not know everything yet, but you can feel the pressure and the strange feeling in your chest that a chapter is ending and another is trying to start. That feeling isn't weakness, it's being aware. Anointed one, there are times when your life looks the same on the outside, but you can tell that things have changed inside. You wake up and do the same things, answer the same messages, and have the same duties, but your spirit keeps telling you that something is close. During those times, I learned not to look for signs. I learned to pay attention to patterns, like how some people keep coming back, how some opportunities come back with new energy, and how your name starts to spread without you trying. There were times when I had to stay faithful in silence. Then, out of the blue, a call came in that I hadn't planned. I stopped expecting an apology to come. A door opened that I had stopped banging on, not because I was special, but because God controls time. Chosen one, what is coming your way isn't just about one person. Yes, it could be a person, but it can also be true. It can be clear. It can be the thing that makes you breathe again. You have been carrying things that were never meant to stay with you, and heaven doesn't let the called carry their burdens forever. The Bible has a rhythm for this. The vision has a set time. It doesn't lie. It doesn't hurry. It comes when you're ready to hold it. This is why waiting has felt like stretching. No one was ignoring you. You were being set up. I want to talk to the part of you that has been doing the right thing even though you are tired. That part kept coming up when no one clapped. That is the part that stayed true when it would have been easier to do. That is what kept your heart clean when disappointment tried to make you bitter. I know how much that costs. It costs sleep. It can make you lose your appetite. It costs you the ability to explain things to people who only care about results. But it also makes you stronger. It gives you power that you don't need permission to use. Chosen one, listen to this with respect. Heaven doesn't make you better to impress people. Heaven raises you up so that your life is in line with what you were meant to carry. That alignment can look like a sudden link that leads you to the right room. It might look like resources are being freed up by a new role, a new contract, a new client, or an idea that finally works. It can seem like divine favor when the same work produces different results, but it starts in the unseen before the transfer is clear. You become better at making decisions, you can't handle confusion as well, your spirit starts to turn away from things that used to make you happy. This isn't being moody, this is how to calibrate. There is also something else going on, Anointed One. People who made a mistake about you are now being forced to think again, not because you begged them to, but because the truth has weight. When you leave, they learn what your presence used to cover. Sometimes they feel it as remorse, they sometimes feel it as unease, they sometimes feel like they can't move on until they deal with what they were trying to avoid. I have seen this happen in real life. The same person who acted like they didn't care suddenly speaks in a shaky voice. The same place that ignored you now wants to talk to you again. The door that was always locked now has a key. Not every return is meant to be received, but every return is meant to show something. Chosen One, you need to stay clean and clear here, because when the truth comes knocking, it often comes with feelings. A message might come, a conversation might happen, or a confession might come out. It will test you in a way that lack never did. Lack puts your faith to the test, return tests your limits, elevation tests how well you take care of things, and this is why heaven has been working on your inner world. You will need to respond to what is coming without falling back into old habits. Let me ground this for you, Anointed One. Imagine a normal day. You are at home, you are taking care of your daily tasks, then your phone rings, or someone knocks on your door, or you get an email, and all of a sudden you know this moment is important. Your body knows before your mind does. Your stomach gets tight, your breath changes, your hands get cold. You look at the screen for one more second. That isn't a superstition. That's your nervous system's way of telling you that something is changing. I stopped rushing when I learned to appreciate that moment. I stopped giving too much information. I stopped trying to decide how the story would end. I just listened, and the truth came out. Chosen One, the surprise isn't meant to shake you up. It is here to bring back what has been lost, show you what has been hidden, and put you back in touch with what was always yours. The best thing about something isn't always the thing itself, but the clarity that comes with it, the kind of clarity that puts an end to a time of doubt, the kind of closure that ends things without making you angry, the kind of breakthrough that makes you say, "Now I know why I couldn't force it." Stay with me in this, Anointed One. The next layer is not only what is coming your way, but also how to see it without losing your peace. Divine movement and emotional noise are not the same thing, and you are about to learn that difference in a way that will stay with you forever. Chosen One, what comes next will not be loud or crazy. Divine movement doesn't happen very often. It comes at the right time, and it tests your ability to stay calm when you want to react. This is the difference between acting on your feelings and being able to tell the difference between good and bad. Heaven doesn't rush you when it comes, it keeps you steady. If you've been unusually calm even though you knew something big was coming, that's not detachment, that is getting ready. There is a pattern that I have learned to see through my own experiences. Anointed One, the noise around you gets louder, but the noise inside you gets quieter before a real change. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You stop looking for proof. You don't ask people to pick you anymore. You don't care anymore, but you know that what is coming can't be changed or negotiated. It has to come clean. And that means you have to be clean too. Chosen One, there is also a reason why your gut feeling has gotten stronger lately. You're paying attention to little things like changes in tone, timing, and energy. You can tell when something is forced and when it fits. This sensitivity is not a coincidence. Heaven is teaching you how to tell the difference between a door that looks nice and one that is yours. A lot of people miss their big break not because it never came, but because they took the wrong version of it too soon. Anointed One, some of what is coming back to you will make you feel something. Regret is heavy, tension comes with confessions, apologies make you open to being hurt, and even though these things can feel good, they aren't the reward, they are data. Information helps you figure out what to do next without getting stuck in the same old patterns that wore you out. I learned this the hard way. I once thought that feeling bad about something meant that it was going to change, that feeling strong about something meant that it was true, and that feeling like you had to do something meant that it was your fate. That season taught me that alignment doesn't ask for help, it doesn't hurry, it doesn't make you break your own rules to show kindness. Chosen One, Heaven is not asking you to go back to who you were. It is calling you to move forward into who you are now. That's why it feels different when people or opportunities from your past come back. You are no longer smaller than them. You don't want them to see you. You can already see yourself. And that is the real transfer. When how you see yourself changes, everything else has to change too. I want to talk directly to the fear that tries to whisper right before something changes. That fear that says, what if this messes up the balance I finally found? What if this costs me my peace? What if I mess it up? Is not a warning. It sounds like old ways of staying alive. Heaven doesn't open doors to take away your peace. It opens doors to prove it. If something makes you lose your inner peace, it is not from God, no matter how familiar it seems. Chosen One, this change has a financial and practical side that shouldn't be ignored. Divine alignment often shows up in very normal ways, like a meeting, a contract, a recommendation, or a resource being released by someone who quietly watched you. Wealth transfer doesn't always mean getting rich all of a sudden. Sometimes it comes as access, sometimes as timing, sometimes as being in a place where work pays off. The Bible shows us over and over that provision comes after assignment, not out of desperation. You have been faithful with little, Anointed One, and you have not become bitter. That is important. You didn't make your heart hard. You didn't take any shortcuts. You didn't give up your integrity to get ahead, and because of that, Heaven gives you more. The real currency of elevation is trust. When God trusts someone, He makes sure that people and systems work together to help them without hurting their soul. Chosen One, pay attention to how your body reacts in the next few minutes. Your body will relax even if your mind is still working on something. When everything is in sync, your shoulders will drop, your breathing will get deeper. Instead of being anxious, you will feel present. That's how you know you're not pushing a door, you are going through one that is already open. I have learned to trust that signal more than fear, excitement, or what other people say. Not everything that comes back is meant to stay. Anointed One, some things come back just to set you free, to finish a loop, to tell the truth, so you don't have to carry around unanswered questions. Even if reunion isn't the end result, closure is a gift, and sometimes the biggest surprise is realizing that you don't need what you used to think about all the time. That realization gives you freedom. This season is teaching you to respond instead of react, to listen instead of assume, and to choose alignment over attachment. What is coming will need maturity, not a sense of urgency. It will take judgment, not drama, and you're ready for that, even if you're still feeling hesitant. Being ready doesn't mean you're not scared, it means that fear doesn't get to make the last decision. Stay here, Anointed One, be truthful, stay steady. You don't have to chase the next movement, it will show itself. You won't have to ask if it's real when it happens, you will know it by the peace that comes with it, the clarity that comes after it, and the way your spirit settles down instead of striving. Chosen One, the door is closer now than it has ever been. The way you walk toward it will be just as important as what is on the other side. Chosen One, there's more going on than meets the eye. It's not so much about what comes to you as it is about who you are becoming as it comes. Elevation shows the foundations. It shows if your strength came from survival or from being in line. This is why heaven often slows things down just enough for you to notice what's happening inside you before anything changes outside of you. Many people think of breakthrough as escape, but true breakthrough is improvement. At this point, you don't have to prove your worth by just being strong anymore. You have already gone through it. You are learning how to accept things without feeling bad about it, how to hold on to things without feeling bad about it, and how to grow without feeling bad about it. I remember the first time something good happened after a long time of hard work. I didn't believe it. I waited for the catch. That response wasn't wise, it was the result of conditioning, and heaven had to gently show me that ease can be holy when it comes from being faithful. This is why the season you're in right now feels strange. Chosen One, you aren't fighting anymore, but you aren't fully celebrating either. You are in the middle, watching, understanding, and changing. That area is holy. Many times in the Bible, people were told to stand still and see, not to rush or try hard, because some wins don't require work, just recognition. You don't need to worry about what's coming your way, it needs you to be there. Anointed One, pay attention to how your wants have changed. What used to feel like it had to be done now feels like it doesn't have to be done. It used to feel like loss, but now it feels like freedom. This is one of the best signs that heaven has been working behind the scenes. Your future is near when your hunger changes. You are no longer asking for help to get out of this. You are asking for what works for you. That difference makes a big difference. Chosen One, it's also important to know something about the people who might come back around this time. Some people don't come back because they are meant to walk with you. Some come back because the chapter is ending in a good way now. It still matters when the truth comes late. It doesn't change the past, but it does make the future better. You don't owe your growth to anyone who only sees your worth when it is no longer available in the same way. You don't have to give up on yourself to be compassionate. This is where discernment turns into protection. Anointed One, I have learned that heaven will always show itself through consistency, not intensity. Feelings that come on suddenly go away. True alignment stays the same. Stop if someone or something comes back into your life and makes you feel pressure, confusion, or urgency that makes you feel unstable. God doesn't worry about when things happen. He doesn't rush his own plans. What is meant for you will find you where you are, not force you to go back to who you were. Chosen One, this change has a financial and material side that needs to be honest. You might notice that how you feel about money, work, or providing for yourself is changing. You have a different way of thinking. You are putting a different value on your time. You won't trade your peace for your life anymore. That's not being entitled. That is taking care of something. Heaven doesn't pay for chaos. It pays for clarity. Your outer world can support growth without falling apart when your inner world is in order. Anointed One, I want to talk to those of you who have been faithful even when no one else was. You came when no one was looking. You learned skills without getting credit for them. You built character without getting praise. You might be wondering if any of that was important. It meant a lot more than you know. Some doors only open for people who can be trusted with what happens after they go through them. Your preparation was quiet, but it was complete. You, the chosen one. The surprise that is coming is not random. It has to do with the seeds you planted a long time ago, the talks you had when you were tired, the decisions you made when no one rewarded you, and the honesty you kept when it would have been easier to give in. The Bible says that whatever a person plants, that is what they will get. Reaping doesn't always look like a reward. It looks like relief sometimes. It can look like restoration at times. It can feel like you are free from the cycles that used to define you. Anointed One, you might not believe it when things start to change. That's normal. Let disbelief go without giving it food. You don't have to fully understand a blessing to get it. You just need to be honest and there. Heaven doesn't ask for performance when it moves. It needs you to trust it. Chosen One, this season also has a test of self-control. You don't have to tell everyone everything you feel. Not every development needs an audience. Silence is not hiding. Silence is wisdom. Some of the most powerful confirmations happen privately between you and God before they ever manifest publicly. I have learned that speaking too soon can dilute clarity. Waiting allows truth to settle. Anointed One, your life is entering a phase where reaction will cost you more than patience. You are being trained to move deliberately, not defensively, to respond from discernment, not from history. This is maturity. This is readiness. This is how you carry what is coming without losing yourself in it. Chosen One, as the door approaches, remember this. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order. You are not being tested to see if you deserve it. You are being trusted because you are ready for it. The shift will feel quiet at first, almost ordinary, but ordinary moments are where destinies turn when heaven is involved. Anointed One, stay grounded, stay observant, stay true. The next part of your story is not loud, but it is solid, and it will meet you exactly where you are without force, without fear, and without delay. Chosen One, there is a kind of tiredness that does not come from doing too much but from holding on for a long time without visible movement. It settles into the body quietly. You still show up, you still do what needs to be done, but inside, something asks, how much longer? This is not doubt, this is endurance reaching its edge, and heaven recognizes it. Anointed One, waiting is not passive when it is filled with faith. It is work that no one applauds. It is waking up and choosing consistency when enthusiasm has gone silent. It is continuing to speak with integrity when shortcuts whisper your name. I know this terrain well. I have stood in seasons where the promise felt alive but the calendar refused to cooperate, where every day looked ordinary, yet I knew something sacred was still forming underneath it all. Chosen One, the danger in long waiting is not giving up, but forgetting why you started, forgetting what was confirmed, forgetting how far you have already come. This is why remembrance matters more than excitement. Excitement burns fast, remembrance sustains. When I could no longer feel motivated, I returned to what I knew was true. The moments when guidance was clear, the times provision arrived just in time, the quiet confirmations that did not need witnesses to be real. Anointed One, endurance reshapes your relationship with time. You stop measuring progress by speed and start measuring it by alignment. You begin to understand that delays are not empty. They are full of adjustments you could not have made while moving fast. Your patience has been forming muscles you will need when the door finally opens. Strength is not built at the finish line, it is built in the waiting room. Chosen one. Some days faith looks less like confidence and more like showing up tired but honest. It looks like doing the right thing when it feels unnoticed. It looks like trusting that the same God who spoke the promise is also governing the pace. There were mornings I did not feel spiritual at all. I made my coffee, I answered emails, I took care of responsibilities, and yet, beneath that routine, something steady held me. That steadiness was not emotion, it was trust matured by repetition. Anointed one, consistency is one of the most underestimated forms of devotion. You have been consistent in your character, consistent in your values, consistent in not becoming bitter. That matters more than you realize. Heaven does not rush to reward intensity, it responds to faithfulness. When Scripture speaks of endurance producing fruit, it is not poetic language, it is a description of a process that takes time because it must be strong enough to last. Chosen one, this season is not asking you to manufacture hope, it is asking you to guard it. Hope does not need to be loud to stay alive, it needs protection. There is wisdom in not forcing yourself to feel inspired every day. Some days it is enough to remain aligned, some days it is enough to not quit. That is not weakness, that is maturity. Anointed one, you are learning how to carry promise without letting it consume you. That balance is rare. Many people either abandon hope or obsess over it. You are being trained to hold it lightly with open hands, trusting that what is meant to return will return at the right time. This posture keeps your spirit healthy while the process unfolds. Chosen one, there is also grief hidden in long waiting, grief for timelines that did not unfold as expected, grief for versions of yourself that believed it would happen sooner. Allow that grief to pass through without defining you. Grief does not cancel promise, it simply acknowledges cost. I learned that honoring grief did not weaken my faith, it purified it. It removed the need to pretend and replaced it with something more honest. Anointed one, faith under pressure often becomes quieter, not weaker. It stops needing constant reassurance. It rests in what has already been revealed. Over time, I noticed that the most grounded believers were not chasing signs. They were returning to simple truths that anchored them when emotions fluctuated. That awareness grew in me slowly through repetition rather than revelation. Chosen one, there is a quiet reminder resting below, placed gently for moments when strength needs steadiness more than explanation, found in the description or the pinned comment. Anointed one, now return your attention here because what you are carrying is not fragile. It has survived delay, misunderstanding, and silence. That alone tells you something about its origin. Promises that survive pressure are not human in nature, they are held by something greater than momentum. Chosen one, do not underestimate the power of staying where you are while heaven finishes its work. Movement will come, clarity will come, but this stretch is teaching you how to remain whole even when outcomes are unresolved. That wholeness will matter when responsibility increases. You are being prepared not just to receive, but to sustain. Anointed one, the waiting has refined your voice. You speak differently now, you listen differently, you respond with less urgency and more discernment. These are not side effects, they are qualifications. What is ahead requires someone who can move without panic and decide without fear. Chosen one, as you continue to endure, remember this: nothing has been wasted, not the long nights, not the unanswered questions, not the days where faith felt like muscle memory instead of fire. All of it has been shaping your capacity, and capacity determines what you can carry without breaking. Anointed One, the promise is not stalled, it is maturing, and so are you. The next movement will not require you to run, it will meet you in the steadiness you have built, and it will recognize you by the way you stayed when it would have been easier to leave. Chosen One, what begins to surface now is the question you have been avoiding without realizing it, not whether the promise will come, but whether you are willing to live differently once it does. Waiting shapes patience, but arrival tests identity. Many people want the door to open, yet few are prepared for the responsibility on the other side of it. Heaven has been observing not just how long you waited, but how you lived while you waited. Anointed One, there is a subtle shift that happens right before change. You become more selective, not distant, but discerning. You no longer explain yourself to be understood. You no longer rush to respond to prove availability. You begin choosing silence over reaction, rest over justification. This is not withdrawal, this is authority settling into place. I remember the moment I realized I was no longer desperate for resolution. That was the moment resolution got close. Chosen One, you are being asked to notice how your inner compass has recalibrated. What once triggered anxiety now passes without attachment. What once demanded answers now receives space. This is not numbness, it is strength that has learned where not to spend itself, strength that has been preserved instead of wasted. Heaven does not give increase to those who burn themselves out trying to be ready. It gives increase to those who know how to remain steady. Anointed One, there is also a quiet reckoning happening around you, not loudly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. People are reassessing their choices, systems are adjusting, opportunities are shifting hands. This is what happens when alignment changes at the root. You do not need to announce your growth for it to be felt. Growth has a way of speaking for itself through consequences and timing. Chosen One, what you may not realize yet is that some doors will open simply because you stopped forcing the wrong ones. Some returns will happen simply because you released the need to be seen. I learned that heaven responds powerfully when striving stops, not because effort is wrong, but because effort without alignment drains life. The moment I stopped trying to prove my readiness, things began finding me without effort. That was not coincidence, that was alignment finally being allowed to work. Anointed One, this part of the journey asks for honesty with yourself. There are habits that cannot follow you forward. Not because they are sinful, but because they are heavy. Old coping mechanisms, old emotional reflexes, old ways of seeking validation. You have already outgrown them, even if they still feel familiar. Release does not always look like rejection, sometimes it looks like simply not reaching back. Chosen One, there is also a refinement of desire happening now. You are no longer chasing outcomes, you are choosing environments. You are choosing peace over intensity, you are choosing depth over attention. These choices may feel small, but they are positioning moves. Heaven often changes direction, not through dramatic instruction, but through subtle preference shifts that guide you without force. Anointed One, let me speak to the moment that will come soon, when something presents itself clearly, a message, an offer, a conversation, a meeting. It will feel significant but not overwhelming. You will not feel rushed to decide, you will feel grounded. That is how you will know it is real. Urgency that destabilizes you is not divine,